Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay here. We've had some technical difficulties getting this meeting started. So hopefully we get everybody in here today and we'll get started. So bear with me for a little bit while we make sure everybody gets in. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started here. Good morning to everybody, and my name is Craig Graham. I am a Customer Success Manager with Skybits. On behalf of myself and the entire Skybits team, we want to welcome you to the week 5 of the Skybits Training Thursdays. We've had some difficulties with the last couple of weeks, so we apologize for that. But as you also know, weeks 1 through 4 sessions are also on our Skybits YouTube channel that you can go and subscribe to, and all the recordings will be posted there after the trainings are done. We want to thank you again for attending. We hope that these 1-hour sessions are helpful to you to improve your level of understanding and knowledge with the SmartTank tool. The intent of all these trainings is really to provide you a live demonstration environment with as few PowerPoint slides as possible. We hope that in doing this, we do have a few of the housekeeping items to dive into. We've muted all participant lines. We don't want any background noise, so if you are not muted, please, if you've muted yourself, and you want to ask a question later, please, you must unmute yourself because we are not able to do that for you. We have factored in time for Q&A at the end of this. And we have also, you can use the chat function if you would like to ask a question while we are in the middle of the session, and somebody will answer that chat for you. All sessions are being recorded and will be available for playback again during the on our Skybits YouTube channel. This week we'll be reviewing how to set up a host-client relationship, how to move a tank, and how to basically swap out a tank as well. So with that all said, we will just jump into the presentation, and we'll go right to our SmartTank page. You may take a few minutes for you to see these as our technical difficulties seem to be continuing. So I'll do some little bit of talking in between the screen changes for you. But what we're going to do today is talk about our host-client relationship, and I'll be showing a video as well. I'll be showing my webcam on how some of the light flashes and everything on the host and the client operate when you're setting these two up for the communication between the host and the client at a certain location. So now you should all be able to see my SmartTank screen. I have 2 monitors up on the screen, and they are the host clients that I'll be working with today. Initially, what you do when you're going to set up a host client is you would go to the host unit itself, and you would set that tank up. Now, I know in the past we have talked about setting up monitors, how to set them up, what is the most important items to set up on those tanks, and we'll kind of be reviewing a little bit of that today as well. kind of back and forth on that so that you can see how that's set up and how it impacts the actual monitor when we do the switch or when we do the host client setup. So I have now clicked on the host unit, which was the first unit on the list, and waiting for that screen to change for you. Again, my apologies for the delays here. I'm not quite sure what is happening with those delays. But once this happens, we will get you to that correct screen. And what normally would happen at this point is you would take the tank type, as we have discussed in the past. Is it a horizontal tank or is it a vertical tank? And then you would choose your inventory units, and you would choose the tank height, and you would also choose the tank capacity. Once those are done, yeah, I'm sorry, I just got a message that said we are experiencing difficulties with the conference. The GoToWebinar connection is lost, so I hope you can all still hear me. And I may have to try to reconnect here. My apologies on this.
We can still hear you, Craig.
Can you still hear me? Okay. Can you see anything on the screen though? Because if not, I'm going to have to go out and reconnect to the GoToWebinar for.
We're looking at your SmartTank page.
Okay. Okay. Apologies, but let me go back out and see if I can redo this and get reconnected. Okay, can you hear me now, Fabian, Allison?
Yeah. Yes, you're back on.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Sorry about that, everybody. Looks like my connection is back, and we are on the correct page. So as I was saying, you would check the tank type and make sure it's vertical or horizontal. You would check the tank height, put in what that inches is. You would also put in the tank capacity. At that point, you would move over and say, what product am I putting in here? And we're going to say default lube for this product. If it is a new product, you would just add it down here in the product text and your new SGU, and you could add that product. You would also, as has been discussed in the past, is to add your fill and your short fill detect volumes. Make sure that that's set up properly. And then you can name the tank down in the general section of the tank. You would then be able to go down here and type in what name you want this to be. And in this case, I am going to call it Craig's Cabin North Tank. And in doing that, once that is all done, you would hit the Save All button. And once that saves, you would then be able to go to the next section of here, which is moving this tank to where you want it to be on your website. Because currently it is in a receiving location, and after you save it, you want to make sure that you move it to the correct location that you have for this tank, wherever it is that you're actually installing this monitor at. We use the words tank and monitor kind of interchangeably, so forgive me if I say tank, moving the tank instead of moving the monitor on the website, but that's what we do. So at this point, you would go to the service tab after you have the unit set up. You would click on the service tab. And the service tab will bring you to a section where you can actually move the monitor to the correct location that you need it at. Once that service tab comes up here for you, I'll continue, and it looks like it's about there. So once you're on the service tab, you'll see a couple of sections. If you scroll down on that service tab, you will see the section called Move Tank. So what you want to do is you want to take this information and you want to say, okay, where do I want to move this tank to? And you want to move it from the SmartTank test receiving to the location that you've created for, or to the organization that you've created for it. And that organization would be the SmartTank demo partner view at this point for us. And what it's doing now is it's searching for that organization. And once it finds that organization, it will then allow me to select the location that I want to move the tank to. And it looks like my connection, once again, I'm having trouble. It looks like everything is just spinning for me. And it looks like I've lost the connection again. I sincerely apologize for this. I am getting hit with some very severe storms right now as well, all day today, but connection has been pretty good until I needed it today. So looks like I've got that. And let's just see how this is working. Looks like you can still see my screen. And yeah. The circle, or the red circle now, is that able to be seen?
Yeah, Craig, we see some movement.
Okay.
It is a little bit slow, but
okay.
Moving.
Okay, good, because it tells me that there's nothing showing to you all, so I just want to make sure that it is still moving for you. And it's still kind of taking a long time here. I truly apologize for this. So once that comes up, I'll be able to select the location that I want to move this to. And once you do that, you're able to hit the Move Tank functionality, or the Move Tank button. and that will take that monitor from the receiving location and place it with or into the location and the organization that you have selected to move that monitor into. So once that's done, you're able to select where you want to move it to and hit Move Tank. And once that Move Tank is done, we will get a message up here at the top of the screen that basically says tank move successful. And then you can move on from the host unit. And what you would do is you would do the exact same thing with the client unit. You would set up the client unit first, you would go to it, you'd click on it, you go to the setup page, and you would set up that client unit for whatever the type of tank it is, the tank height, the tank capacity, product, your short fill, your fill detect, and then you would name it as well, whatever the tank name is that you would like it to be. Once that is all done, then you would go we'll pull up the client here as soon as I know that this tank gets moved. And now I'll go get the client unit and show you on the client how we move the tank for the client. So I go back to my list. And once I'm back to my list, I click on the serial number of the client unit, since that's the second unit on the list. And I will go through this and set this monitor up, and then we will assign this client to that host. So the way you assign it, so just if I go through all this, it's the exact same as what we just talked about with the host unit. But to assign the client, you would go to the Service tab again. And once you're on the Service tab, there is a section called Assign RTU, and that allows you to assign this unit to the host unit. And the way you do that, once the screen comes up here, I'll be a little patient here for you. There we go. Once you do that, you'll see the section called Assign RTU Host Device. And what you will do at this point is you would type in the serial number of the host unit, which is 905.126.105, and you would hit the search button. What it's doing right now is it's going through the organization that these tanks are in, looking for the host unit, so that it can populate everything in here, and you can verify that yes, this is the host that I want to assign my client unit to. So once you type in all that, it will start to process and look for that host unit. And again, all of this stuff that I'm showing you here can be done by our customer care group. You can contact the 800 number or the 888 number, and they'll be able to walk you through the setup of this. They'll be able to assign the units for you. But if you want to be able to do this on your own without having to call the support group, you always set up your host first, then move that to the correct location, set up your client next, and assign the client to the host. And once you've assigned the client to the host, then you would move that client to that same location on the website. And once that is all done, then you can go ahead and do what we're going to do next, and that is pressing the buttons on the unit to make sure that the host and the client are communicating properly. And again, this is something that our customer service group will be able to do with you. they will stay on the line with you until both units call in and make sure that they are functioning properly and that you're getting the correct readings out of your tanks. So as you can see now, it's brought up the information for SmartTank for that model. And it says, is this the unit that you want to assign this client unit to? And I will say yes, because it has the correct serial number and name to it. So then all you do is you just hit the assign button. Once you hit the assign button, it will go again into the background and say, okay, now I'm working to assign this host and this client together. So now the host will know that there's a client unit that it's supposed to talk to every day to get the information from so that it can send it to the website. The client units do not have a AT&T or Verizon radio in them. They work off the local area network, so all it does is just look for a host unit and say, okay, I'm assigned to this host unit. So when the host wakes up, it looks and says, okay, how many clients do I have? Pulls them all up, wakes them all up, gets their information sent to them, and then the host will make that phone call to the website. Little bit more detail there, but that's how the host-client relationship works. Once that's all done, what we'll do, it's taken a little bit of time to process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can actually get my webcam to work, and I can show you what the lights on the host unit and what the lights on the client unit will look like when the two are calling each other. Okay, let's see if I can get my webcam to pull up. Okay, are you all able to see the webcam yet?
Yes, yes sir.
Okay,
we can see
perfect. Perfect. So what I have here is the host unit. And what you would normally do is the lid would be closed. We've got the magnet hanging off the edge of it. And all you would do is you would swipe that magnet over the top of the unit. And then as you can see, you've got a green blinking light. What that green blinking light means is that it's starting up. Then you will see what we call a railroad signal, red and green, flashing together. And then the green light will continue to flash. What that green light is doing at this point is it's looking for the tower. So it's searching, blinking, letting you know that it's searching for the tower. Once it goes solid, as it just did, it's made its connection to the tower. So right now it's talking to the tower. It's getting the data that I put into the website, brought into it, talking with the tower, giving it data, pulling data from the website, and it will do that for a little bit, and then it will blink a few more times green, and then go out. That means you've had a successful call, and the rep on the other end of the line will be able to look at that and tell you that the unit did make its call in. They'll be able to provide you a level that's in the tank, if there is any product that's in the tank at this point in time, and you can verify that the tank is correct, the readings are correct. So we'll let that light go a little bit until it decides to end its connection and be done with the call. And then we will work on the client unit. Not sure, there we go. You see the flashes again, it goes out, and that has completed your phone call. So with that, not sure if the client actually got assigned here on the website. So we'll try that again. Doesn't look like it did, so may not be able to show you exactly what happens with the client unit and the host unit. But as you can see, the client unit is very similar to the host. It all looks the exact same. This is the host that I'm holding with the green tape on it, and then this is the client. The way you can tell the difference in one way is that the host will always have the magnetic connection on it, and the client will not have that. And the client does not have what we call the antenna that you can see on the host unit, kind of circling the whole inside of the unit. This black piece is the antenna that makes the phone call out to the website. On the client, you don't see that at all. It's just the boards and the battery that are in there. So the way to, once these units are assigned to each other, the host will actually wake up that client and have the call out. When you receive the unit, the client will not have the battery plugged in. So what you'll do is once you get the unit set up, you will take the battery connector, connect it, and again you will see the green flashing, and then the railroad flashing, and then you'll see the green light going, and it'll go off. That's just telling you that that client is functioning, and it's waiting for its connection to the host. So if I was to, as you can see with the host light is blinking, so it's saying, okay, I do have a client. The client woke me up, and the client wants to tell me something. So it is working. At that point, you're able to talk with the customer service rep. They can verify that you're getting both readings on the website and that everything is working properly with both units, and that the connection is there and that the readings are correct. So with that in mind, with the website going slow and not letting me know for sure that these are connected, I'm not going to be able to show you the readings on the website per se, but as you can see, when you activate the client unit, it did wake up the host, and if I was to activate the host unit again, what it would do is wake up this client and get the readings from the client so that it can supply it to the website. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties today, but that's pretty much it on a host client process. And then there is on the website as well, on the service tab. I'm going to stop sharing here and see if we can get back to the website. So bear with me a moment while the website comes back up. And on the service tab, you would see what's called the swap RTU device. So if you have a unit in the field that is not functioning and you have a replacement to put on it, you would go to the old unit that's not functioning, and in the swap section of the service tab, you would put in the new model or the new serial number, and you would hit search. Once it pulls up the details of that new serial number, just like it did under the assigning for the host, once all that detail is there, all you do is you hit the swap button, and that swap button then allows you, it takes all the details from the old non-functioning unit and puts it into the new unit that you're wanting to install in place of that old one. What that means is that all of your setup data, all of your alarms, all the history of all the calls that have been made off of that old unit have now been assigned to the new unit. So you don't have to go back in and make any setup changes or any alarm changes. Everything is there for you. So all you have to do at that point make sure the swap went through, and then you just install the new unit in place of the old unit. That old unit then is you can do an RMA on it. Again, you would have to contact our customer care group to be able to do that. But that's what they are there for, is to help you with creating RMAs, troubleshooting, and setting up monitors, setting up the host-client relationship, as well as swapping out monitors and doing the troubleshooting for you. So if you don't have the time to do this all yourself, please utilize our customer care group. That is what they are there for, to help you make sure that your monitors are functioning and working properly. So with that, I think what I'll do is open this up for questions. And if anybody has any questions, Fabian, I'll let you kind of control that, and we'll see the answers that we can get for them.
Thanks, Craig. This is Allison, very quickly. I don't see any questions that were entered in through the question section or the chat, so I have nothing to read there.
Okay.
Yeah. If there are any questions, maybe, oh, someone just asked, do not understand the swap, please review the process again.
Sure. What you would do with the swap is, if you've got a unit, say you've got the host unit that I was just dealing with is a unit that's not calling in anymore. You've called into support. Support has told you it's not functioning, it needs to be repaired. And so you've got a brand new unit that you're going to install in its place. What you do is you go to that unit, to the bad unit on the website. You would pull up that data for that unit. You would go to the service tab, and then in that service tab, you will see where it says swap RTU devices. So what you do, and I'm still showing my screen, I'm hoping you can see this.
Yes.
Once you go to the service tab, and you do the swap, you would say, okay, here's my new serial number that is a brand new unit. I know it's working. I want to replace that unit, the bad unit, with this new unit. So you would take that new serial number and you would type it in here in the min RTU ID number. You type that in there under the swap function, and then you would hit search. Once you do that, all it's going to do is fill in all this information in here by pulling up that RTU device. Once you know that, yes, that is the correct device that I want to do, all you have to do is hit swap over here on the right-hand side. What that hitting of the swap does is it just kind of replaces the bad unit on the website with the new unit on the website, fills in automatically the location details, the setup details, the alarm details, the history of the unit, all the past calls, all the past usage is now all on that new device, so that you don't lose any of that functionality when you do a swap. Because you know that I still need to see what is the history, what is my usage history, what is my delivery history. Even though it's a new model or a new monitor, I need to make sure that I still have all that old history and data associated with the new monitor now that the old monitor had on it. Once you do that swap, the old monitor's tank name gets a WAS, W-A-S, in front of the tank name. So in this case, it would be called WAS Craig's Cabin North Tank. And your new one would still be called Craig's Cabin North Tank. So the WAS tank now is moved back to wherever that new tank came from. So if you had a new tank in your receiving location, the WAS tank, the old one, goes to receiving. The new one goes out to Craig's Cabin North Tank at whatever location it's currently at. Does that help clear up a little bit of that?
There is another question that is in relation to this. The customer said, I don't understand. Where is the old unit put in the swap section? How does it know where to get the old monitor information from?
When let me see how I can explain this. The old unit is what you are currently on the website. So you're troubleshooting that bad unit. And so you have it pulled up already on the website. So what you see right now on the website, this 905.126.105 is your bad unit, is the old unit that's not working. So what you're doing is, since you're on that unit on the website, in the details tab, or in the details of that specific monitor, you then put in the new unit here that you want to swap it with. So you're on the old monitor already on your website, in that details of that monitor. Then you put in the new unit so that you swap the two. Does that make a little more sense?
Yes, they did respond. Okay, now I get it. Thank you.
Good. Yep.
There is another question. Is a receiving unit not assigned then? And a second part to that is, how do I move a monitor from one organization to another?
Okay. I'm assuming what you mean by a receiving unit is if a unit is in the receiving location. and you're right. If it's not assigned, what you will see is, let's see if I can pull it up here. What you'll see in the cellular ID, all clients will not be assigned when they're shipped to you. So you have to assign a host and a client together when you take those 2 units out, or 3 units, whatever it is, to your location. You have to assign those units to that host unit. And the way you can tell that a client is not assigned is on the cellular ID of the client. It will have a 175 number starting with 175. And that tells you that it is a client unit that has not been assigned to any host. So when you do assign that unit, what happens is you will then see that 175 turn to the actual MIN number, and that MIN number is the number for the radio, the AT&T radio or the Verizon radio. It's kind of like the phone number to that unit, and it will assign that MIN number to the client when you do it. So the 175 number will go away, and you will see the 882.235 for AT&T. For Verizon, you'll see an actual 10-digit, look more like an actual phone number for Verizon. So it'll give you the area code, and then the 3 digits, and then the 4 digits. So it gives you a 10-digit number that really looks like a phone number instead of the 882 type of number that AT&T provides. So those are the ways you can tell the difference between the two. What was the second part of that question, Allison?
Did you want to go ahead and show where you can assign a location or an organization?
The second question is, how do I move a monitor from one organization to another?
You would do that as well under the service tab, the Move Tank feature. You would, under the destination organization, you would just drop down that list, and you would pick which organization you want it to go to. So in this case, since these monitors were in a receiving location, you want to move them from receiving to Disneyland. And you would then click on the Disneyland organization, and then you would have the create a location, or if there's already locations there, you would click on the select location drop down, select the location that you want to go to, and hit move tank. And you can do that whether it's in a receiving location or whether it's at a current location or organization, and you want to move it from that to a different one. So that's how you would move tanks around. Now, a lot of you probably will not have access to moving tanks. That's really set for your administrator at your company. So most of the time you'd want to be checking with them and make sure that that moving into tank, if you're not able to do it, you don't have the tabs on your website to do it, that you work with your administrator to make sure that it's set up and able to be moved to the new location and organization. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it seems like it did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. What other questions may be out there? Anything coming up, Allison?
No, sir.
Fabian?
Yep, I think that was all.
Okay. Well, I will then we'll close out the presentation. I appreciate the time, and again, my apologies. Oh, go ahead.
Hold on one second. It looks like we do have another question.
Okay.
Did you want to unmute yourself or continue typing? I do want to note, if you folks have any follow-up questions for the sessions, our telemetry support group, we do have an email address as well, where you can reference, hey, I attended the Thursday training sessions, but I do have follow-up questions, and one of our representatives will answer your questions as soon as we are able. We do tend to address a queue of questions or requests, but we will get to you as soon as we can. Is this where a mistake can be made by changing all monitors at once? And I can answer that. So okay. It seems like the situation you're talking about is if you change a name or if you change a name on a tank or a location, when you're making tank changes, so specifically in the setup tab, you will only be making those changes to that specific monitor that you are dealing with. When you are updating a location name, you would be in the location details page. So on the top of the page, there's a location link, and if you make any changes to that specific location that's hyperlinked on there, then you would be changing that location name or address or a specific detail on the location for any tank or any or all of the tanks in that location. And then same applies to organization. I know you mentioned that your administrator has said that somewhere on your site that can happen. That's really where I can picture kind of, like location or organization-wide changes. If you would like, if you kind of want to give us an example, either through the chat or if you want to unmute yourself and speak, or if you want to email telemetry support, we can dig into those general mistakes, where you accidentally change something for all of the tanks in a specific location or organization, and we can dig into that. But those changes would be made through the location page or the organization page. Does that answer your, I understand you can unmute. Yeah, do you understand you can, what I may have explained?
I think in a nutshell, using this screen would not cause an error like that, right, Allison? When we see,
yeah, that's correct. I just went about it a little bit more long-winded, but yes, you're correct, Fabian.
yeah, when we see those issues, it's because somebody has written over a location or organization name.
And if you need to make large changes like that to organizations or locations and things of that nature, if you have a customer success manager, you can reach out to them and they would be able to direct you on how best we can do that for you in a mass upload. And it takes a little bit of time to make sure we get all the correct information. And then it also takes a little bit of time for our engineering group to create that and make those changes in the background for you. But it is possible to do a mass change if you need that as a request to do. You know, your customer success manager can work with you. And you can also, if you do not have a customer success manager, you can reach out to our customer support group and they'll be more than happy to work with you as well to make sure that in time we get those changes made for you. Anything else? We've got about 7 minutes left in the session, and again, I appreciate everybody that stayed on through the trouble, and apologize sincerely for those troubles. It looks like now my connection has been very stable for the last 10 minutes. So during the question time, it's been stable, and during the presentation time, it wasn't. So my apologies for that. Any other questions? If not, we just want to thank you again for attending the session. They're about you being our partner and how best we can serve you and how best we can leverage our tools to make sure that your business is running properly with using our product. And you know, if you have any ideas or content that you'd like to see in future sessions, please let us know. Send that to your customer success manager or send that to our customer support group and let them know that. Next 2 weeks, we will be looking at doing reporting. So we'll be doing a session on types of reports, how to create a report, linking some of your TankView profiles to a report, and also some date selection, how to schedule it, and assigning recipients. So it's a session on reporting. So if you're interested in some of that generic reporting that we do have out there, please register for that. Again, that's in 2 weeks. And again, I want to thank you all and appreciate your time today, and we will talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much.